Welcome to our Clarity and Focus session here at Consulting Unleashed. Today, we're going to talk about what we call, or what I call, the client engagement matrix. And so essentially what it does is it looks at the different levels of client engagement that you have into a marketplace, but more importantly, where you want to pay your attention, where some of the leveraged opportunities are, and taking consideration the level or the type of activity that you have into the marketplace. So with that, let me just share the matrix with you. I'm just going to go to my screen and we should see the client engagement matrix. So this is what it kind of looks like, right? It's, I guess, for all intents and purposes, we're in a pyramid mode for this structure. So what this does is it looks at things like, what are the different types of leveraged opportunities that we have from our marketing point of view. And generally what happens in the marketplace, we have at the lower level, if we look at these social strategies, we've got things like, people are bootstrapping it by doing cold email. So, you're scraping a list, you're putting that list into a file, uploading that into an email server, crafting a campaign and message to that audience. Preferably you want to have the name of the person that you're marketing to. Preferably that list is going to have some level of filtering in terms of the quality that you go to the marketplace with, and then you go and send your information out and you engage with that type of strategy. LinkedIn is very popular for a lot of people. I would highly recommend that if you use Sales Navigator as your entry point. The reason why I recommend that is that gives you more options for engagement and also targeting, and more importantly, as developing a communication strategy that's going to generate a better result in terms of getting to those conversations, right? So LinkedIn is very powerful. Having a structured approach, the idea is to get between 10, 20 appointments per month out of something like LinkedIn is where the goal is. To do that, you've got to be probably engaging between 200 to 400 people, or actually more than that. So over the course of you're probably looking at engagement about 50 to 70 people a day. The limitations around that 75. Over the course of the week, you're probably trying to connect with about 1,000 people. If you're connecting with 1,000 people over that course of the month, you should be able to generate between 10 and 15 or more appointments per month. And it normally takes about 6 weeks for a LinkedIn strategy to kind of kick in, right? To maximize your opportunity to start getting the results. So it's all going to be dependent on your messaging, your targeting, and your approach. The next low level, or the third level, social media is always social media. So things like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, I guess we can lump in LinkedIn there. But YouTube is an area in terms of building cadence or an audience of subscribers to build influence. But social media, number one strategy in social media is to actually join business groups, right, or be part of business groups, because not so much marketing groups. You want to be part of groups where, so for example, if you look at like Chicago or New York City or Melbourne, Australia, or Sydney, there are business Facebook groups where there are business owners in local communities that have those Facebook groups. And a lot of Chamber of Commerces also have Facebook groups as well. The reason why I say jump into a business group, that's where your prospective customers are. That's where you're going to see people that you can market to directly and engage. So for me, that would mean adding value to those social media groups. That would mean asking questions, providing a share, and then opening the door to the opportunity for those people to engage with you. So you're not actually going in and doing you're not pitching. The idea is not to pitch. The idea is to add value, or at least provide relevant information that perhaps solves some of the problems that people have with your product, with what they're trying to achieve, and how you solve that problem with your service. So social media is very powerful. Webinars have always been powerful. Right now, the virtual stuff is working really well. As you can see, we are virtual and live right now. Virtual webinar or webinars are very powerful to build an audience, to build content, to actually craft things like evergreen webinars that people can watch. The key thing with webinars, I would look at highlighting what the 5 key or top problems are that people have in the marketplace with your product or service. And then what I would do is I would actually answer or respond to what your solution is to those problems. And then what I would do is I would share that with people. So maybe you run a webinar that talks about 5 key problems in a market and how you solve those markets, and you do it once, then you can evergreen that information, or or you can cut it up into little pieces, and you can syndicate that information and then draw customers to your business. So that's one way to use webinars. Networking. So what do we mean by networking? Right now, we're coming out of things like lockdown and social distancing restrictions. We're allowed to go to sporting events, and there's all these sorts of things happening. So we're slowly looking at ways of getting back into some level of normality. So for me, I believe events are going to be coming back, physical events. I would say probably around October, November is when we're going to start to see a lot of the major events starting to pop in. In fact, I believe October and November will probably be the busiest months for direct events in the marketplace. But you can network with people on social media networks, you can network with people virtually, but at the end of the day, you want to network with people physically. Look for events where you can attend and engage and open the door to relationships. So the bottom rung here, the social strategies tend to be lowbrow, there's not a lot of investment involved at this level. It tends to be more free rather than paid, right? So that's number 3. That's a key area. So the second area, if you want to leverage and generate a lot more appointments, then you've got to look at paid strategies. So the paid strategies that I'll be looking at, definitely for us in the marketing world, Facebook ads are very powerful. If you dial in your messaging, if you dial in your campaign effectively, landing page to an appointment, you're probably looking at about $200 for an appointment on average, depending on the market you're targeting and I guess the strategy you're using. So if we were to say between $150 to $200 per appointment, if you've got 5 appointments, that's $1,000 you've spent on generating 5 appointments. You're going to close 1 deal. So your acquisition cost to a client is roughly $1,000. However, with advertising, you actually speed up the process of generating ads, generating clients, because you're attracting and engaging customers directly into the marketplace. They're interested in your offer and they want to take the next step with you. So this scales up or speeds up the process of you engaging. Same thing with Google ads. If you do Google AdWords, you should be running AdWords for your marketing agency in your marketplace. If you're running Facebook ads, you should be running Facebook ads in the marketplace so that people see you or have you visibility out in the market. We need to be visible, and the fastest way to do that is to run ads. YouTube ads, super powerful, way cheaper. They're very inexpensive, very powerful strategy to build brand awareness, but also gives people more of a physical engagement if you're running video. Same with video ads on Facebook, same thing. You know, as long as you've got the right strategy and the right structure, you're going to maximize your opportunity to get a much better result in the market. So YouTube ads are very powerful. Now, a lot of people forget mainstream media, journals, TV, radio. There's in local markets, TV and radio is actually very inexpensive. In the US, we've run TV campaigns for as little as $600 to run multiple spots in key time slots, and we've generated clients. So, like, can you imagine being on TV? 1, it gives you a video. 2, it gives you presence and a little bit of credibility, but also gives you a much broader and greater reach. So TV, local TV and radio, even community radio, very inexpensive to market and advertise, and it gives you an opportunity to do a little bit of an educational thing and also a give. So if you can go directly for your offer, you can go directly into sharing exactly what you do. Say, look, this is a problem most people have. Here's how we solve that problem. Best thing you can do, hop on the phone, call us, or go to this website, grab this, or go and grab our media or our marketing strategy kit right now. Go to this URL. So you got URL and phone number, very measurable. If you're using URL and phone numbers, you can see how many people responded, but price-wise, relatively inexpensive. Now, journals are very inexpensive, but with journals, you can target an industry niche. You can go direct to the niche market and target that industry niche. So, for example, it might be, let's say you're into engineering firms. Well, there's probably half a dozen engineering journals out there that you can run a campaign in. You could run either an advertorial, or you can run in a banner, or you can make a direct offer for a lead magnet. But what it is industry journals are read by the peers within that market, within a niche. So if you are targeting a particular vertical or a niche market, you can go direct to your market in their media. And this also gives you visibility and presence, and it's also very inexpensive to do. Oftentimes I've seen ads as little as like half-page ads for $200 for a whole month, which is crazy. And if the magazine's got a distribution of 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, that's insanely cheap to be advertising and marketing your services direct to your niche, creating that visibility. But more importantly, if you add value with an advertorial where you've got a little piece of education where you're solving the problem and saying, look, if you're experiencing these things, take advantage of this lead magnet, whatever the lead magnet is. you can leverage those types of mediums. So media, mainstream media right now, because people are consuming, radio is up, TV is up, right? We've been sitting in lockdown, we've been consuming lots of information. So local is very inexpensive, and it does attract attention. So you can use paid strategies. Now the pillar or the pinnacle, the next two areas, are leveraged opportunities. So I want to explain before I take a little bit of a sip, so that I can lubricate my throat. So I want to talk about these two areas because this is the pinnacle. The leverage strategies at level 3. One can, well, they're not very expensive, right? And I'll break these up. So groups and associations. Professional associations are one of the largest areas where you can actually work in vertical niches. The beauty of associations is that you can build authority within a niche market. You actually get access directly to people who are engaged in those association groups. So you've actually got access. You can join as a member, or you can be part of the supply chain. You can see vertical channel partners in an association. There are events, trade shows, sponsorship opportunities. There's also engagement opportunities where you can actually be part of the leadership within an organization or an association group. So there are 92,000 professional associations in the United States. That's huge. If we look at major associations, the average membership exceeds 1,000 plus. Some of the larger memberships have tens of thousands of members, right? So for example, if you look at the CPA have 300,000 members. You look at the CA Association in America, the Chartered Accountants Association has over 100,000 members in that market. So lots of members, lots of prospective customers in one place. So this enables you to have a lot of intelligence from a niche point of view. You can see what the problems are. You can easily engage people in associations. They have their own networks and Facebook groups. There are also opportunities for you to provide training and provide services to those associations. The associations in and of themselves can become clients for what you do. Many of the consulting champions that I work with have actually generated large numbers of clients just through associations because they've been specializing in a particular service that they provide. This is where their clients go. And so this is how they pick up their clients. They pick up their clients through vertical markets and through professional associations, because what happens is you can become very visible in that organization. If you're a specialist, you can dominate an industry group because you provide a specialization service to those markets. Now, and by the way, this opens a door to several significant niches in the marketplace. As I said, I've had many of our consulting champions develop relationships with associations that have literally walked them into hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of clients and millions of dollars worth of clients in the marketplace. That's why these top two tiers, and I'll talk about JV in a moment, are the most leveraged opportunities that you have. Whatever your approach is, has to be one where you're engaging with value into those markets. And if you can actually ingrain or get indoctrinated within those groups, take leadership positions within committees and things like that, be part of, in terms of effort, there's no great deal of effort that you make or time effort you have to put in. However, what this does open you up to is much stronger relationships. It creates a brand awareness that you support a market. So you're already identifying yourself as somebody who's a provider. So the recognition and the connection is much easier if you are part of these types of groups. Like I said, there's 90,000 of them. Some of them you can join professionally. You don't even have to be accredited or affiliated within the industry to be a member. They do have membership for people who supply to the industry. So you have opportunities in and around those types of structures. So groups and associations is a highly leveraged scenario. I could literally spend days talking about the opportunities. And if I look back on, in my businesses, this is where I've generated a lot of clients, right? I actually worked in the not-for-profit sector. There is an association for associations. So actually group businesses are actually there, often marketing into those, their own services, looking for people to solve problems just like you, right? Looking for services to solve their problems. So understand groups and associations, hugely leveraged model. Membership fees are anywhere between, at the low end, $300 a year. At the high end, you might be spending a couple of $1,000s. Now, if you think about that, you need one client to get an ROI, basically. one client in a group. You could go to one function, you go to one meeting, one webinar, and pick up one client out of that. However, what this can open the door to is 10s, 20s, hundreds of clients in the marketplace. There is no shortage of associations that you can generate engagement with in the market. So number three, the number two, next top leverage area is JV and partnerships. Now, for me, when I talk about JVs and partnerships, by the way, JVs and partnerships, I'm talking about leveraging the opportunity of 7 figures. Like some good professional joint venture relationships can add multiple 7 figures to your business. We've worked or developed JV partnerships that have given us tens of millions of dollars worth of revenue in the marketplace. So the cool thing about that is they already have a relationship with your customer or your prospective client in the market. So what you're looking for JV partnerships is you're looking for people who are channel partners who service the marketplace. They actually go and support and supply the market that you're in, right? In this market. Now, because you offer a service that can benefit their customers, there are many ways that you can approach to build that joint venture relationship. There's one where you can say, hey, what if I provided some training? What if I provided some services? What if we actually gave something, a lead magnet or something on your behalf as a value add, thanking your customers for being great clients, where you support them or provide them with new opportunities. So JVs can be actually quite easy, where it doesn't cost you any money or you're not exchanging any revenue for referrals, right? So simple joint ventures is if you're in the market of providing a service and your education helps people to expand their opportunities or horizons, or to see a different way of approaching the market, especially with marketing opportunities, then this is a great way to open the door to new clients with a joint venture partner. Now, there may be situations where you're building a joint venture partnership based on remuneration. So they might say, hey, let's get together. Let's open up a revenue channel for your business. We'll do a JV. This is the service we provide. We'll give you a percentage of the sales that are made as part of you being part of this joint venture, right? So you're actually sharing revenue that you generate from this joint venture. But here's the thing. You can share revenue the other way around. They've already got a client base. You might be able to help them to leverage their marketing more effectively, and they will pay you, right, a percentage or sharing of profits on sales. The other way to approach the JV partnership is to go to JV partnership with a lead list, right? So if you've been generating leads and scraping leads and you're marketing and nurturing to that list, then why not go to a joint venture partner who's a channel partner who will benefit from those types of customers and say, why don't we do joint promotion, and any sales that come from that, we'll do a split or a revenue share from that opportunity. So you can come to the market with value, a lead list, and say, hey, I've been building this lead list. This is a targeted audience. You've got a great product. If we build a campaign and a structure to nurture that relationship, to engage that market and see if we can make some sales, and together we can actually share the revenue from those sales. Then once you've done that campaign and you've generated some capital or some cash flow, then you go, great, so why don't we do exactly the same thing with my services to your list of the market? So that way you've got a very simple JV based on a profit share arrangement between you and the company. One thing that you need to understand about joint venture partnerships is these people you need to do all the work, right? If you're going to do JV or strategic alliance partnerships, you need to set everything up. You need to create the campaign. You need to give the emails. You need to organize the scripts. You need to do all the setting up if you're going to do webinars. It's all on you. Because you've got to understand a JV partner, your business is not their business, right? You are not their core business. This is an opportunity, either one, they see as a value add to add value to their customers, or they see a revenue opportunity that they'd like to try. So this area of joint venture means you have to take control, right? You cannot expect the partner to do all the work. In fact, they're going to do very little work. The more you do, the better this is going to be, right? So you need to do all the organizing, all the work, all the structure in the JV relationship. The other thing with joint venture relationships is that you can create content, right, to provide to those JV partners. And that content, because it's industry related, industry specific, you can use that as part of your marketing out into the wider audience, into those markets as well. So JVs are huge leverage opportunities. Like I say, you can generate multiple 7 figures out of one decent joint venture partnership. The key here is, how do you add value to them? and how can they add value to you as part of that process of that relationship. Oftentimes I find that with a JV partner, I will actually work with them, do something for them, get paid. I wouldn't do it for free, right? Provide a service, get a result for them, and then they're more inclined to work with you as well. Or if you have a give, or you know that you can help them, then give them the give and say, hey, what do you think about the idea? And then you can start to build a relationship. This concept of you have to have a friend to be a friend is really key. So this is a basic client engagement. This bottom rung here, I know, by the way, in Champions, we talk about 23 different client engagement strategies, and there are less than 23 on this matrix, but here's an example of the 3 levels of client engagement. You got social, you got paid, which is very powerful and can generate sales opportunities very quickly when you dial in your campaigns. Then you have leverage strategies. These 2 leverage strategies, they are a structure unto themselves. Doing work inside of group associations in vertical markets, becoming a member, becoming engaged, building your brand within a vertical niche is a very powerful way to generate an exceptional amount of clients and revenue for your business. And then on the other side with JV, this opens the door to many multiple partnerships. So for example, in our agency, we work with about 24 different partners. We have 24 joint venture partners. This opens the door to millions of dollars worth of revenue, right? Millions of dollars worth of revenue in the market. And this is an area that a lot of people actually miss out on. They don't know what they're doing. They tend to make mistakes in this area because everybody's looking at how do we get paid. It's more about how do we add value and how do we actually leverage the long play in those joint venture relationships. Because if you hit the right joint venture partner, that partner, if you work with that partner for a fair amount of time, like let's say for a year, 2 years, 3 years, right? They can literally write a book of multiple millions of dollars worth of revenue for you. So if you're looking to scale your agency, if you're looking to take it to a whole other level, this is something to take into consideration. So if you want to see this video and a whole bunch of other videos, go to the YouTube channel, Consulting Unleashed YouTube channel. If you want to join the Facebook group, go to the Consulting Unleashed Facebook group and join. You'll be able to see these trainings and more in the group. Keep an eye out. If you go to consultingunleashed.com/go, keep an eye out for some of the trainings that we are providing. There is also free training in that on that URL or that domain as well. I hope this has been useful. I know we've got a few people on this call. I'm going to answer some questions in just a moment, but I'd love to know what your biggest takeaway from this training has been. So let's open up to the chats. We've got a whole bunch of people here, which is good to see. John, Martin, Ramon, Rashida, nice to have you here, Rashida, Samantha, George, good to see you here. We've got a few people. If you have picked up something from what I've just shared today, then it'd be great. Just type it in the chats. Best idea, biggest takeaway from what I've shared, just type it in the chat. You can see the chat there. If you've got a question, type it in the chat. Happy to answer your questions. I'll just have a sip of my tea whilst you're asking questions there, if you're watching this video. Martin, always love the strategy, yes. Very powerful way. Something that's coming up, what we're going to do very shortly in these clarity and focus sessions is we're actually going to do a live streaming channel. So this Monday to Friday that I'm doing, I'm actually going to be doing live streaming. So you'll see it live streamed in our Facebook group and you'll see it live streamed on our YouTube channel. So make sure you do subscribe, make sure you hit the notifications so that you do see the live streams. So very soon we are not going to be on this Zoom link anymore. So just letting you know, we are continuing with these sessions, but we are actually going to go live on these sessions. Rashida says, do you find your target business consulting clients on YouTube or mostly in LinkedIn? Is YouTube effective for business? YouTube advertising is effective for business clients because you can actually target where your ads are placed and who's what, you can target where your ads are being placed, who gets to see them. There's a whole strategy in YouTube advertising and marketing that I would highly recommend, Rashida, because it's actually really inexpensive and the reach is really big. So you can actually get a much stronger reach, much stronger engagement on YouTube ads. YouTube ads are huge. There's a guy called Tom Breeze. If you look up Tom Breeze, he's probably the best YouTube advertiser in the world. Anything that guy says is gold. Tom Breeze is B-R-E-E-Z-E, Breeze, Tom, T-O-M. So yeah, YouTube, yeah, you can, if you're running ads, absolutely. If you're building an audience and a channel and all that sort of stuff, well, that's very different. You've now got to make sure that you're marketing your channel to your audience so they know that that's a resource. If you're going to use YouTube as an area, like I'm doing it right now, right? I'm posting YouTube videos pretty much every single day. We've got like about 80 odd videos in the last 80 days. Yes, you can build an audience very slowly doing that. Now, to speed that up is you want to run ads. You want to start spending some money on advertising promotion to get that, to ramp that up. So yes, so thank you for asking the question, Rashida. Any other questions? Yeah, so very soon, yeah. Yeah, reaching out to 50 to 70 people a day on LinkedIn. Now, I'd put that on autopilot, by the way. I generally hire a VA or someone like that to do that for me, to run out the messages. That way, you're connecting, 250 people a week, 1,000 people a month. If you're connecting with 1,000 people, you're going to be generating, if you've got the right cadence of the message, because remember, you're dealing with volume over a period of time. If you've got the right cadence of messages, I generally find that with 1,000 connections, you're going to walk yourself into eventually between 10 and 15 regular appointments every single month. And if you really do it well, you can get to a situation where you're getting 30 appointments a month out of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very powerful way to generate leads and appointments for your services. So yes, thank you, Eric. Any other questions? I'm happy to take another question. Otherwise, I'm going to say thank you. I hope you enjoyed this training, this video. It's giving you some ideas and tactics and strategies. Remember, you can go and watch all the videos on the YouTube channel at Consulting Unleashed, or you can go and join the Consulting Unleashed Facebook group, and the videos are posted there. Yes, you can do the 4 email follow-up, Eric. So rather than email follow-up, what I would do, and that's if we're talking about extracting the information off LinkedIn, then that's different. But if you're using LinkedIn as a channel, what you want to do is you're trying to build up a relationship where people are at least interested in connecting, finding a little bit more about what you do and what you find out about them. And then from there, what I would encourage you to do is to make sure you're professionally adding value, that you're not pushing the relationship too quickly into let's talk, right? You want to add some value, you want to provide some value to those people and engage. Thank you, Rashida, really appreciate it. Okay, so with that, I want to say thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's call. Same time, same bat channel. It is 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm hopping on here talking about tactics, strategies. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about some really cool stuff. I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you. Hope this has been useful. Take care.